Hey everyone. First of all, I'm a mom now. Whoa. And a lot has changed for me, so much that I don't even know where to start. But I will start with a really big revelation that has landed within me, especially since becoming a mom and the struggles of the postpartum period for me, and the humility and just massive shift and transformation that's taken place. That revelation is that I've been addicted to shadow. And in other words, I've been addicted to finding the problem and getting to the bottom of things and seeing kind of the dark underbelly of things. The alternative to shadow addiction is not whitewashing or pinkwashing or positive thinking or spiritual bypassing, as you might think, or like I used to think. The alternative to shadow addiction is balance. And the vast majority of us in this culture at large, in like globalized, Americanized culture at large, and consumer culture at large, are addicted to finding what's wrong with ourselves, with things, with other people, with ideas, just you name it. And this translates for a lot of us as the way we were raised, and we bring these patterns of deep shame about ourselves. In other words, there's something wrong with me inherently, into the work that we do for other people. We go into therapy, counseling, psychology, healing, shamanism, whatever it might be, and we're astonishingly good, I've found by myself, at finding the problem and then amazing people with our assiduous analyses and insights and intuitions about what exactly is wrong with them. And the truth is that at least in part, this is just a continuation of our childhood wounding patterns. And we're so good at it because we've been practicing it since before we can remember. So how do you know if you're a shadow addict like I have been? I would say you know if you're never satisfied, basically with anything, and especially if you hear someone talking or you're doing healing work on yourself and you've just got to get to the next layer. It's almost like a compulsion. It's like it's never good enough, it's never deep enough, it's never core enough. You also know if you have a shadow addiction, if you find yourself spinning your wheels and not getting any traction anymore in your self-healing journey and practice. Or maybe you're in this cycle of you do this deep work, or you have this change in your life and it's shaking everything up, and you do all this deep work and you realize exactly which pattern it reflects from your childhood or whatever you're doing. And you go into this dark night of the soul and it feels really shitty for a while, but then you come out and it feels so great. But you find yourself doing this same pattern over and over and over again of getting really deep and dark, feeling really gritty and shitty, and then coming out and feeling so much better. And the truth is that for a lot of people, certainly including myself, this is the addiction. And we have this program that says I have to feel really bad, basically, in order to feel good. Like, in order to get to the good feelings, I have to get to the deep, dark feelings first, or that it somehow isn't real. And this is certainly something that I believed. It's somehow not real if I just feel good. So what I'm going for within myself, and maybe this is helpful for you too, is again, balance. It's not ignoring the shadow, certainly not. I couldn't if I tried. But I can encourage myself in my perceptions of the way I feel in each moment, to focus more on the good, feeling good. So I'd like to try a practice with you guys. And this is a very simple practice that I learned from the modality called organic intelligence. So first, you're just going to let your head and eyes wander around the room Just let them lead you. Don't think about what you should look at. And simply let your eyes land and stay still on an object, and just name that object in your head. And take a breath. And then we're going to go within. So notice in your body, you may or may not close your eyes. And notice one feeling in your body that feels good or less bad. A physical feeling like a tingling in my feet or expansion across the heart. Or a glowing in the solar plexus, like whatever you feel, just one thing. And then we're going to end with the same orientation exercise, just looking around the room, finding something, letting your gaze land there, name it within. And then come back. And I know practicing this, it's called, in somatic experiencing and organic intelligence, it's called a blue sandwich. Blue just means good feelings. So we're sandwiching that perception of the good feelings within us with an orienting exercise, just looking at what's outside of us. And this is to help bring us into the present moment, into our bodies, instead of this hyper-focus inward, which is part of shadow addiction. It's this like going within all the time and not having balance with really arriving in our physical space. And so the more you do this exercise, just whenever you remember throughout the day, try then to, when you orient, let your gaze land on something that is pleasant looking to you. Like I have a flower over here that's really beautiful and red. And when you're orienting and looking at it, just notice how nice that looks and how it feels to look at that nice thing. And then go within and notice that feeling. And you'll find that because of neuroplasticity, the more you do this, the easier it gets for you to notice what's good, what feels good, both in your environment and within yourself. And I promise you, this isn't going to make you into a spiritual bypasser. This is simply going to bring you back into balance. You'll notice that you're not in balance, I'm sure, if you really keep track of how many thoughts and perceptions you have in a day of what's wrong with yourself, with other people, with the world, with, the arrangement of your furniture versus what feels genuinely and deliciously good. And so we want to have that balance in order to avoid shadow addiction. Thank you all so much, and have fun noticing the good.